That's an intriguing question. Since they've long been a discounted, even hated, people, there is only one obvious answer: their enormous impact on the foundations of virtually all of Western culture. This impact can't legitimately be overestimated. While there were certainly influences outside of the Jewish culture and, more specifically, the Judeo-Christian religion, it's hard to identify many significant aspects of European, American culture that is not connected in some way to this ancient tradition. Even Islam shares the stories of origins all the way through Abraham with the Jewish Old Testament, and Jesus, a Jewish prophet at a minimum, is revered in Islam as Isa al-Masih. And these cultures have long dominated the heritage and religion of 3 of the world's 5 populated continents, with a significant presence in a 4th, Africa, and continuing growth in the 5th, Asia, not to mention the part of Asia we know as the Middle East. Beginning soon after the time of Christ, as the Christian Church gradually expanded throughout the pagan world, its Jewish roots were part and parcel of this faith heritage. While there were early variations that denounced Judaism, most converted groups at least recognized the Jewish background to the gospel story at the center of their newfound beliefs. And from the conversion of the Emperor Constantine in the 4th century until today, the Christian faith, and its Jewish underpinnings, have formed the crux of an entire hemisphere in a way that no other ancient or modern philosophy or tradition. This is not to take anything away from the many contributions to Western culture of Arabs, Muslims, and the various Asian people groups and faiths over the centuries, not to mention ancient pagan cultures that influenced the early Hebrews. One can also argue that many ethnic as well as religious Jewish scholarship and personalities, apart from their shared roots with Christianity, are substantive and positive. But the impact of Christianity not just on religious faith but on everything from naming places and people, establishing universal clocks, calendars and epochs BCE, CEA, K, ABC, AD, defining full or hybrid languages, even alphabets, to the core principles of generalized ethics and moral, legal codes, arts and literature and more. What didn't originate with Judeo-Christian culture was, more often than not, advanced or refined by it. Science and technology, the social, humane sciences, including Western socio-economic and democratic rights, owe much of their development to people inspired by their Judeo-Christian faith and teachings. It's true that some will always try to trivialize this impact, but even the most cursory but unbiased study of Western civilization recognizes that a world without the influence of Jews and Judaism would be unrecognizable and utterly foreign not only to us but to multiple generations of our ancestors. Even the more educated in non-primitive, i.e., those that have encountered the West, Asian, African and other native cultures, see the Western world as an outgrowth of Judeo-Christian culture. You can't get much more influential than this. To appreciate why this is so, one needs to respectfully study the people, culture, religion and the long history that influenced Jews themselves and the faiths they birthed and inspired. Most early Jews were farmers. But various groups who didn't like Jews, made it illegal for Jews to own land. Their properties and all of their assets but one were taken. What is the one asset that can't be taken? Knowledge. So they educated themselves whenever the opportunity presented itself. Till this day, education has been the secret to survival. Romans, Crusaders nor Nazis will ever understand how we survived with the rest of the world never lending a hand. Just look at what a Jewish state has given to the world in less than 100 years. It all came from a desire to survive and help the world see that without education you end up as jealous haters. This is but a very simple explanation, and I hope others will expound without being wordy, so that those of you that ask the question will take the time to read and understand what education really is. A combination of education, ambitious goal setting, and hard work. Just like any Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, atheist, agnostic, etc. of influence. The only difference is centuries of persecution which has forced us to seek influential work that insulated us somewhat from unruly mobs of peasants and townsfolk who sought to scapegoat us for their ills. And to get those positions, we needed credentials. Literacy. Intellectual flexibility. Pragmatism. Open-mindedness. Things only a select few Christians of the time were capable of, sans clerics and nobility. So sure, many, but perhaps not all, of us have a drive to succeed, to learn, and to rise above the insults and harassment of the anti-Semitic lowlifes. The reason being, if we didn't 700 years ago, we may very well have been lynched by a pack of serfs.